The first item I must deal with is the letter of appointment. I will now read the letter of appointment. It is a letter from Mr. Durin Watterson, the Minister for Home Affairs. It is dated the 18th of December 2012 and it is directed to Mr. Gary Roberts, and it reads as follows. Dear Mr. Roberts, confirmation of appointment, Chief Constable, Isle of Man Constabulary. Following your acceptance of the offer of appointment and after consultation with the Council of Ministers, I can formally confirm your appointment as Chief Constable of the Isle of Man Constabulary with effect from 1st January 2013, further to Section 2, subsection 1 of the Police Act 1993. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your 28 years of dedicated service in the Isle of Man Constabulary and wish you all the best for the future. That is the letter of appointment. We now turn to the oaths. There are two oaths to be administered, the oath for the Chief Constable and the oath of allegiance. And I've asked Mr. Roberts please to come up to the bench now to take those two oaths.
I, Gary Roberts, do swear by Almighty God that I will well and truly serve the Crown in right of the Isle of Man in the office of Chief Constable with fairness, integrity, diligence and impartiality, upholding fundamental human rights and according equal respect to all people, and that I will, to the best of my power, cause the peace to be kept and preserved, prevent the commission of offences against people and property, and apprehend offenders against the public peace. And that while I continue to hold the said office, I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge, discharge all the duties thereof faithfully according to the law.
Thank you. So I'm satisfied that the oath for the Chief Constable has been duly taken. We now turn to the oath of allegiance.
I, Gary Roberts, do swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, so help me God.
Thank you very much. Satisfied that the oath of allegiance has also been duly taken, we now turn to the entry in the Liber Juramentorum, the public records of this island, and that entry reads as follows. At Douglas, 4th January 2013, on this day the oath of allegiance and the oath of Chief Constable were administered to and taken by Gary Roberts, sworn into the office of Chief Constable of this Isle by virtue of his letter of appointment dated the 18th of December 2012. Could you sign on the right side? Congratulations. Thank you. You'd like to take this? I think we should all give the new Chief Constable a big round of applause. The appointment of a Chief Constable, in particular a home-grown Chief Constable for the Isle of Man, is a very important appointment for the island. In preparation for this ceremony, and as a matter of professional curiosity, as the new chief would call it, I reread George Turnbull's book on the Isle of Man Constabulary, first published in 1984, the year I was called to the Manx Bar as a Manx advocate, and the year Gary Roberts became a Manx police constable. Yes, we have both been around that long. Mr. Turnbull, in his interesting book, referred to the words of Deemster William Lease Drinkwater in 1863, and I quote, "Without an efficient police force, the best of laws must often be inoperative and good government impossible," unquote. Deemster Eason, in his foreword to the book, spoke of the Manx police force with its attendant rights and duties, assisting the peace, good order and government of the Isle of Man. The police work at the sharp end of our community to keep law and order. They often work in very difficult circumstances. We should respect and value the good work they do on our behalf. Without them, it would be difficult, if not impossible, to maintain good government and a civilized society. The very foundation of a civilized democratic society rests on the rule of law and compliance with the law. The police are there to ensure compliance with the law. The Chief Constable will be at the forefront of the maintenance of law and order and the advancement of policing on the island. He has much experience and expertise in these areas. I have a document before me signed by the Lieutenant Governor and the Chairman of the Home Affairs Board, dated the 6th day of April 1984. And it reads as follows: the Home Affairs Board doth hereby appoint Gary Roberts to be a police constable in the Isle of Man on probation with effect from the 16th day of April 1984. Gary Roberts obviously had a successful probationary period and is still with us. Gary Roberts has already given many years of loyal service to the island through the Isle of Man Constabulary, nearly 29 years. That is a massive contribution to policing on the Isle of Man. The concept of public service is clearly at the heart of the Chief Constable's work. It is good to see a Manx constable rising up through the ranks to Chief Constable. This is a sign of the island's growing maturity and increasing local independence. The list of the achievements of Chief Constable Roberts to date is already significant and will no doubt be added to over the next 5 years. Gary Roberts is plainly passionate in respect of the constabulary, its professional standards and its reputation. He was the architect of the values-based approach to policing. He is passionate also about maintaining and enhancing the quality of life people enjoy on this island. Many people speak very highly of Gary Roberts, and he has already achieved some outstanding success within the Isle of Man Constabulary. On my appointment as First Deemster, the Chief Justice of this island, in December 2010, the Judge of Appeal, with a big mischievous smile on his face, stated, and I quote, "I hope that in the very unlikely event that if he ever in any way becomes bumptious or intolerant, that his wife and his sons will remind him that he's only a judge and not Superman. We all need people to bring us down to earth," unquote. How right the wise Judge of Appeal was. Looking at the CV of Chief Constable Roberts, you could be forgiven if you felt you were reading Superman's CV. Fortunately, I am aware also that there are at least 3 people who will bring the Chief Constable firmly back down to earth if he ever gets ideas above his station. I speak, of course, of his wife Jackie and his daughters Lauren and Rebecca. In addition to keeping the new chief's feet firmly on the ground and making sure he wears the right trousers and the right shoes, more of which I'll come to in a moment, I'm sure that Gary will gain a lot of comfort and inspiration from the continuing support of his family. It is good to see Jackie, Lauren and Rebecca here today. Lauren has been in court number 1 before to hear some presentations on the Manx legal system and to ask and to be asked some difficult questions. Lauren was awarded the Isle of Man Court School Visits Prize in 2011 against stiff opposition amongst the island's secondary schools. Lauren displayed great knowledge of the Manx legal system and our independent system of law, which augurs well for the future. I return now to her father, who also knows about the Manx legal system and the role of the police in a compact island community. In preparation for today, I made some discreet enquiries to see if I could ascertain any useful personal information in respect of the new Chief Constable. My sources remain, of course, strictly confidential. Thank you, Chief Secretary. But let me read from a communication I have received from an undisclosed third party. And I should add that I've not had a good opportunity of looking at the Chief Constable's shoes or trousers today. But I quote from the email. Our new Chief Constable, a man who several years ago turned up to a leadership training course at the Sefton Hotel wearing one black and one brown shoe, when asked whether he had a matching pair of shoes at home, he looked down and alleged that he'd got dressed in the dark so as not to disturb Jackie, his wife, or his two daughters, Lauren and Rebecca. The course didn't start till 9 o'clock. He immediately rang Jackie and she came to the rescue. She drove from the home in Castletown to the Sefton with a matching pair of shoes. In the meantime, Mr. Roberts did his best to keep his feet out of view under the table until she arrived. I continue with the email. Those who worked closely with him knew when he had an interesting job on the go, as in the early stages of an inquiry he would walk up and down the corridor at police headquarters at a great rate of knots, with no one being able to keep up with him. When the inquiry got to the mundane stage of statement taking, etc., Gary's pace would slow considerably. The email continues. At Tynwald a couple of years ago, we had an incident with the coroner of Glenfaber, as on the hill they had one seat between them. Mr. Roberts was adamant that it was his seat, and so was the coroner. Mr. Roberts won, and the coroner had to make alternative arrangements. A real exercise of power and authority. I continue with the quote from the email. Chief Constables obviously need personal dresses, as both Mr. Langdon, now Mr. Langdon OBE, and Mr. Roberts have previous experience of arriving at events in trousers and tunics that don't match. Last year, 2012, our new Chief Constable arrived at Tynwald with his tunic in a suit carrier. When he got it out, it was a completely different material to his trousers. Fortunately for Mr. Roberts, someone had left a spare pair of trousers in the police control vehicle that were a better match than the ones he was wearing, although they weren't a particularly good fit. So once again, he's had to rely on other people to ensure that he paraded for duty in his normal, immaculate state. Unquote. We all need good people to support us, but let us leave shoes and tunics behind and move on to more serious matters now. The oath that has just been administered today requires Chief Constable Roberts to undertake his duties with fairness, integrity, diligence and impartiality, upholding fundamental human rights and according equal respect to all people. People must also recognise that in addition to fundamental human rights, we also have human responsibilities. A fundamental human responsibility that goes to the very core of our continued civilized existence is the responsibility to comply with the law. I trust that the local community will continue to support the good work the police do to ensure that the first-class quality of life we all enjoy on this wonderful island is maintained and enhanced, and that the peace be kept. Chief Constable Roberts, you have good reason to be extremely proud of what you have already achieved to date, and I know that you are keen to get on with dealing with the challenges that the next 5 years will present. I congratulate you, Chief Constable Roberts, on your appointment as Chief Constable, and I wish you well in discharging your onerous duties in accordance with your oath.